Applying to college can be confusing and overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to start. But no matter what your plans are, it's crucial to figure out your game plan for application deadlines early in the process. Hey, it's Bo, your niche school counselor, and today we are going to cover one key part of the application that you have to figure out pretty early on in the process: college application deadlines. You may not even realize that there are different deadlines, or you may be further along in your research and trying to decide which deadline makes the most sense for you. Today, we are going to go more in depth on each type of deadline and talk benefits and drawbacks of each one. Let's get started. First things first, let's talk about why it's important to carefully consider deadlines and when you should decide which deadline is right for you. I can flat out say that making a decision about which way you're going to apply is crucial to do early on in the process. We know that deadlines are important because we know that if we miss a deadline, that typically translates into missing out on an opportunity. Opportunity can mean several different things. It can mean getting into college, or it can mean a scholarship. Sometimes obtaining those things might really depend on which type of deadline you are choosing. Figuring out which deadline you're applying under is a pretty important step in the college application process. It's also important to make that one of your first steps in the process, so that way you can make a plan for when you need to complete certain things in order to meet the actual deadline. So with that said, you can imagine how important it is to know which deadline you're dealing with. I will cover each type of deadline more in depth, but before we jump in, I cannot stress enough that you need to decide what you're doing at the start of your college application journey to really allow yourself the best chance at staying organized and completing all the steps in time to meet the deadline. So let's jump right in and take a look at early decision. Early decision is, in my experience, the most often misunderstood choice. The deadline usually falls around November 1st or 15th, and its key component is its binding nature, meaning that if you're accepted, you are obligated to attend. In other words, if you apply early decision, you are basically telling the college that you will definitely attend if they accept you. So let's dig deeper into the drawbacks and benefits of early decision, and then we will cover if it's right for you. The first is higher acceptance rates. Many colleges admit a larger percentage of their incoming freshmen through early decision. Just think of it from a college standpoint. They are really trying to fill their seats early and secure a committed, enthusiastic incoming freshman class. The second is demonstrated interest. Applying early decision is really signaling to the college that you are super interested. You are letting them know that this is your top choice school, and admissions committees really appreciate students who are genuinely passionate about their institution. They feel that they will have a strong member of their college community with a student who is demonstrating serious interest. The third is early peace of mind. One of the most significant benefits is that you will receive your admissions decision early. Sometimes it can be as early as December of your senior year. Drawbacks of early decision. The most crucial drawback is the binding agreement itself. This means you typically can't apply to multiple colleges under early decision. I only say typically because some colleges have unique policies and might be a little different, so it's really important that you read the fine print. I want to give you a personal story before I talk about a few more drawbacks, because I think it's important that you truly understand the binding aspect of this deadline. I also want to preface this story with a huge caveat that many colleges will handle each situation differently, so please understand that what happened to my student may not happen to you if you apply under early decision. As a school counselor, I always caution my students to make an informed decision, and whenever they come to me to ask about early decision, we usually chat pretty extensively about what this really means. We talk finances, we talk about what will happen if they get accepted but are not offered a lot of financial aid. We talk about other colleges on their list and how passionate they are about the particular college they're considering for early decision. There are just so many important factors to really think through when it comes to early decision. However, for this particular student of mine, we covered all of these important factors, and applying early decision actually made a lot of sense for him. This college had been a dream college ever since he was a child. His parents could afford it even without financial aid, and he also had 3 different major choices that he was very interested in, and he had a really high chance of getting into at this particular university. So frankly, he actually fit the criteria to apply to this college under early decision. It was an elite, tough to get into college, and really one of his best chances of acceptance was early decision. My student ended up moving forward with early decision and was later super excited to find out that he did get accepted. However, we can't always predict what happens in life, and my student also received pretty devastating news about his mom's health in his senior year. She was diagnosed with cancer and she had to start treatment pretty quickly spring of his senior year. During that time, my student really questioned a lot of things in his life. In his words, life is short and I'm realizing that the most important thing to me is my family. For the first time, my student was not even excited about leaving Texas and going halfway across the country to attend his dream college. He just wanted to be closer to his mom and be there for his dad while his mom was going through the treatment. His mother's diagnosis was such a huge life-altering event, and it forced him to want to seek a university closer to home. But that came with so many headaches and email correspondence since the original university wanted him to defer and attend the next year. I just remember the dad even mentioning to me that he had evaluated the contract and he was worried that the university would actually have the legal right to charge the student the whole first year full tuition. All of this added stress was just not ideal, and my student really left all of this correspondence really just not even wanting to go to that college. He ended up getting out of his early decision binding agreement without penalty because of the unforeseen circumstances with his mom. However, that didn't take away from the countless, time and money that was spent really trying to get this all sorted out. I am happy to say that in the end, his mom did recover and my student was successful at another university much closer to home. But even though this ending is ultimately a happy one, this is definitely a learning lesson for all of us to see how binding that agreement really can be. Now that you've heard my personal experience with the drawback to a binding agreement, let's talk about another potential drawback, which is financial uncertainty. Because you're locked into attending, you won't have the opportunity to compare financial aid packages from different institutions. This can be a significant drawback if you're a student who might rely on financial aid to fund your education. Another drawback might be less time. Applying early decision requires you to apply early on in the college application season. You might feel pressured by the time crunch of trying to get everything in order to meet that early decision deadline. When you apply early decision, the college may send you a rejection or offer to place you on the wait list when decisions go out. They can also defer you, which means that they want more time to evaluate your application, and they'll likely give you a decision along with all the other regular decision applications. Because early decision is binding, you may not want to end up applying to other colleges if you get accepted, but if you receive any other decision, you will have to submit regular decision deadlines, which means you may have to prepare full applications before receiving your decision, or you may face a time crunch if you decide to wait to work on them before you hear back. So now let's figure out if early decision is right for you. Here are some critical factors that you should consider when deciding. The first thing to consider is certainty. Are you 100% sure that one specific college is your dream school? Are you genuinely passionate about and committed to attending this school, and would going there align with your long-term goals and aspirations? If so, then early decision might be for you. Next is your academic profile. If your academic credentials are strong, applying early decision can really boost your chance of acceptance. Consider your financial situation closely. If you don't need to compare financial aid packages, or you're confident in your ability to afford this institution, the financial drawback just might not be as significant for you. Early decision is a powerful tool in the admissions process, but it's not for everyone. Make sure to thoroughly think through the benefits, the drawbacks, and consider the factors that are personal to you. Also, remember to consult your high school counselor, your parents, and any other key stakeholders as you weigh your options with early decision. Let's move on to a more popular choice for many applicants, which is early action. This deadline usually also falls around November 1st to the 15th. However, unlike early decision, early action is non-binding. This means that if you are accepted under early action, then you still have the freedom to choose whether or not to attend this institution. Now let's explore the benefits and drawbacks in a little more detail. One of the main advantages of early action is that you will receive your admissions decision early, some as early as December. This will allow you to start planning your future sooner. I mentioned this earlier, but perhaps one of the biggest benefits is that early action is non-binding. You can apply to multiple colleges under early action simultaneously and still have the flexibility to make your final decision later. Similar to early decision, applying early action does show the college that you are genuinely interested, which could result in a positive influence on your application. Now let's chat about some potential drawbacks. While early action does offer some advantages in terms of acceptance, it is not as high as early decision in most cases. Some colleges admit a slightly smaller percentage of their incoming class early action versus early decision. The drawback of early deadline pressure is similar to the drawback we discovered with early decision. It can be a similar time crunch to get your multiple applications completed by the deadline. Now let's figure out if early action is the right choice for you. Here are some factors to weigh in. Flexibility and freedom are a huge advantage to early action. Do you want the freedom to apply to multiple colleges and compare offers before deciding on a college? If so, early action may align more with your goals. Another question to ask yourself is, are you eager to receive an early response from colleges to alleviate the anxiety associated with waiting? I personally have seen so many students struggle during the waiting period because they are the type of students who really like to plan their future, and the uncertainty of not knowing can be really taxing. If you are that type of person, it may benefit you to apply early action and get the decision sooner rather than later. Another factor that is very important to assess is your commitment level. Are you drawn to the benefits of early deadlines but not quite ready to make a binding commitment to the college for early decision? If so, then maybe early action is the better option for you. Early action is a popular and appealing application deadline for many students. It offers the benefit of early feedback while allowing you to apply to multiple schools without that binding commitment. However, make sure to closely weigh the pros and cons and carefully determine if early action truly aligns with your individual circumstances. Next on the list is priority deadlines. While early decision and early action deadlines often receive more attention, priority deadlines are equally important and have their own unique advantages and considerations. Priority deadlines, sometimes referred to as preferred deadlines or scholarship deadlines, are specific application deadlines set by colleges or universities. These deadlines typically fall before the regular decision deadline, often around November 1st or December 1st. Applying by the priority deadline will usually make you eligible for a wider range of scholarships and financial aid opportunities. Some institutions have a first-come, first-served type of policy for awarding particular aid or scholarships, or even designated spots in their honors program. With those types of colleges, applying by the priority deadline is a requirement to qualify for those additional scholarships and financial aid opportunities. Another thing to consider a benefit is that some colleges may still give you priority consideration to those applicants who meet the priority deadline, thereby increasing your chances of acceptance. Similar to both early decision and early action, you may find out your acceptance decision earlier, and similar to early action, a priority deadline usually provides the benefits of applying early without the binding commitment to attend. One of the drawbacks is most definitely the varying policies associated with priority deadlines. Each college may set their own timeline for priority deadlines, and it can be challenging to really understand how and what each priority deadline really entails when it comes to scholarship opportunities or when you should expect to receive a decision. This can make it really difficult at times to really understand the benefit of applying under priority. Since the college sets the priority deadlines, they may not offer the same flexibility to apply to multiple schools with the same deadline because the actual deadline and policy will vary from college to college. Now let's see if applying under a priority deadline makes sense for your unique situation. The biggest component to priority is the wider range of financial aid and scholarship opportunities. Personally speaking, most of my high-achieving students would always review the priority deadlines carefully because they did not want to miss out on any of the college-specific merit scholarships that were only offered to the priority applicants. Many parents weren't even aware of these types of deadlines, and I've had many students over the years not apply in time and miss out on the academic merit scholarships available from the college simply because they applied under the regular decision deadline and not priority. Due to the extra research that it may take to understand the priority deadline, the next thing I would consider is your time management. If you have a decent academic record and you have time to research each of your college's priority deadlines and scholarship considerations, then I would highly recommend that you take the time to do this and see how many merit-based scholarships you actually qualify for at each of the colleges on your list. If you're finding that you qualify for a lot of these scholarships, I would highly recommend that you apply under priority to make sure that you don't miss out on any potential opportunities. If you believe that you are a strong candidate and you want to increase your chances, then applying priority can be advantageous to applying regular decision. Priority deadlines are important to research and consider because of the financial aid and scholarship advantages. However, keep in mind that these deadlines will probably take the most time to research and fully understand for each college that you plan to apply to. Up next, we have the all-encompassing regular decision. This is your standard application deadline for most colleges and universities, and it will typically fall between January 1st and mid-February to March 1st. Since this is the most common and widely used application deadline, you might already be familiar with the general benefits and drawbacks, but let's talk about a few of them so you truly understand what it means to apply under regular decision. After covering the other deadlines, it's pretty clear that the regular deadline will not come as quickly as the early deadlines. This could be seen as a benefit because when you apply under regular decision, you simply have more time to prepare a well-rounded application that best represents what you have to offer. Regular decision is pretty standard and probably the type of deadline that you're most familiar with, so you have nothing to worry about in terms of a binding contract when you're applying. You will have the flexibility to apply to multiple colleges and choose where you want to enroll for your freshman year. Another advantage is the ability to compare your acceptance offers and your financial aid award package offers. Since you're applying later to these schools, you should have all the information at your disposal so you can make a fully informed decision on which college makes the most sense for you. One of the most significant drawbacks of regular is that you won't receive your admissions decision until much later, sometimes as late as April. Many enrollments and confirmation dates come as early as May, so it doesn't leave you much time to sit and process your offers. Another disadvantage may be that the majority of students apply under regular decision. At some of the more competitive colleges, this could mean that they may have already offered a high percentage of the seats available in their incoming class to the students who applied under early decision, early action, or priority. Now let's consider if applying regular decision is the right move for you. Some students are still contemplating their college list in the fall of their senior year. Maybe you are not confident in where you want to apply and you need more time to weigh your options. Or maybe you're waiting to retake the SAT in the fall of your senior year and you want to see your scores before applying. If that's the case for you, then it may make sense to give yourself a little more time to put your best foot forward in your application. Maybe you are relying on specific financial aid offers to fully decide and you want to see everything at once before making a decision. If you really value the ability to openly compare your offers from multiple colleges, then regular decision may be the move for you. Although applying under regular decision may be the most common deadline for most high school students, it's still important to weigh the pros and cons and determine if you are missing out on anything by applying under the regular deadline. The last one I wanted to quickly cover is the rolling admissions deadline, which some might argue isn't necessarily a deadline. Unlike the fixed deadlines we just covered, rolling admissions means that colleges accept and review applications continuously throughout the application cycle. The many colleges and universities that offer rolling admissions typically start evaluating applications in the fall and continue until all available spots in their incoming class are filled. Let's cover some benefits and drawbacks of rolling admissions. Rolling admissions provides the most extended application window, allowing you to apply at various times throughout the cycle. Another great benefit is that you can receive admissions decisions relatively quickly after applying. Some of my students received acceptance offers 2 weeks after applying in the month of September. Knowing that you've already been accepted somewhere can really give you a sense of security and peace when you're applying to other colleges. Rolling admissions means that colleges have a larger number of available spots in their incoming class for a more extended period of time, so this can increase your chances of acceptance. One of the most significant drawbacks of rolling admissions is that not all colleges offer this type of deadline. Depending on your college list, you may only have a few opportunities to apply under rolling admissions or possibly none at all. As the year progresses, spots in a college's incoming class may start to fill up, and the competition can get tougher as they fill their class. Applying early is still key with rolling admissions. If you choose to apply super late in the admissions cycle, which is often possible with rolling admissions, you could potentially be offered fewer financial aid opportunities. So should you consider rolling admissions? Do you prefer a flexible timeline that allows you to apply basically whenever? Do you want to work under a less stress mantra without an impending deadline scaring you? It may be worth it to apply under rolling admissions if these are concerns of yours. Or are you eager to receive your first offer of acceptance that is not binding like early decision, so you can feel a sense of peace knowing that your future isn't hanging on a decision that you won't receive until the spring? Maybe applying under rolling admissions will help ease the stress and your mental health concerns when it comes to college applications. Rolling admissions is a flexible and ongoing option that does offer significant advantages. However, make sure to consider all aspects. Some drawbacks might affect you more than others and end up outweighing the benefits altogether. So look closely at everything before applying exclusively to colleges that offer rolling admissions. So there you have it. Remember that the best deadline for you depends on your personal circumstances and preferences. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. Plan thoroughly and mark all your deadlines on your calendar to stay organized. You should keep a balanced approach, meaning you can apply with a mix of early action and regular decision deadlines. And also, remember to check for exceptions because some schools offer variations of these deadlines, or they might have a college-specific policy that varies from other colleges. Don't hesitate to ask your school counselor for guidance or chat with the college admissions counselor if you're still questioning which deadline to choose. Applying to college can be a lot, but making an informed decision will make you feel so much better about the whole process. Best of luck as you get going with your college apps. I am confident that you will make the right choice when it comes to your deadlines. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.